for René, Auberjonois, and Terry Farrell. Yeah.
Here you guys are.
Hi. Didn't expect to see so many of you here. That's very nice.
Apparently you're not following or something. It's crazy. How have you been enjoying Pensacon so far? You had a chance to get around, see some people, see some things? Not so much.
Yeah, no, you know what happens is you fly in and they take you to the hotel and then you go to sleep and then they come and pick you up and they bring you here and then you get to see all the nice people. So I guess in that way we've seen Pensacola through the eyes of the people. How's your neck? Terry's bitter neck.
Yeah, I did my neck. I pinched a nerve. Oh, thank you. I feel so much better now.
Was it some bizarre karate move or something?
I wish. Of course not. It was just I was stretching before I was going to go downstairs and get on the treadmill, so didn't go down on the treadmill. I just got finished tweeting, "Move it," and then I was like, I guess not. Not this morning. Holding a little tension in. I'm moving back to Los Angeles. So I'm having a feeling that's what this is, because as soon as I leave you guys tomorrow morning, I'm back to getting my house ready to sell, so. Yeah.
That would be stressful.
Right?
This is a beautiful theater.
Very nice.
Yes, it looks like it has some history in it.
Yeah.
Does it? I love theaters that have ghosts. No, seriously.
In case you didn't know, Pensacola is the oldest U.S. settlement. It's not the permanent settlement, but somebody first landed here, City of Five Flags, starting with the Spanish.
Really?
But yes. So there's a little bit of a rivalry.
And the silence.
What happens when you have a parent doing these things, by the way?
No. You're asking in a big concept, so it's trying to pull together an answer, take some thought.
Yeah.
It's not a yes or no.
The thing is, when you go to work, you start a show, and there's a character written on the page, and whether it's Jadzia or Odo or whoever, and as an actor, you look at the words and you try to figure out what it is the writers who have envisioned the character, what they want you to give them, and you do your best to interpret the words, and then over time you're like an instrument playing their music, but pretty soon they have to start writing to your instrument. And I think actually that was something that I noticed most clearly with the development of your character, that when you came in, they thought, I think, the sort of crass Ferengi Paramount people were thinking, oh, so we got a hot chick in here, and she'll be the sex symbol, and that'll be great, and that'll be good, and that's what she'll do. And I think, I don't mean to speak for you, but I think what you developed was a much more complex character, and I'm not sure they saw that coming.
When I first got the part, they didn't know what they wanted. Every time I came in, they would describe me in another way and give me limitations,
Right.
which made it very difficult. And I had difficult dialogue, and to the point where I felt helpless. I felt like I couldn't make a decision without it being the wrong decision, and they were worried about me, so they hired an acting coach, which also made me feel, demoralized, like, oh my God, I can't make a decision, they don't know what they want, and now it's my fault. Like I said, now I don't know how to do my job. So it was like, I felt like I was falling backwards, and
When did you feel like, okay, never, I'm not going to say it. But I'm just going to do what I do because
love him. me, and when I worked with her, the first time we worked on a scene together, she said, well, you're a good actress. There's nothing wrong with your acting. You need a dialogue coach. That's what you need.
Just to learn the damn lines is what, right.
You're not getting enough sleep. There's no time for you to do it. And, that's really difficult, not only to have the discipline to do it, but if they only give you a 9.5-hour turnaround, it's nearly physically impossible to get your makeup off. Well, first of all, drive back and forth to the studio, get your makeup off, learn your lines, have dinner, wake up, have breakfast. Oh my God, you don't have enough hours to yourself to actually get your job done. But she really helped me too, because they would give her notes and she would tell me exactly what they say. And she said, you know what, they're telling me they want this to be more serious. She said, but I like how you bring your sense of humor to it, so I want you to keep doing that. And so basically, she would give me this note about this particular person, and she would say, anytime you're feeling frustrated, think, fuck him.
Thank you to both of y'all are changed a lot of people's lives. And I was wondering, what was the funniest scene or outtake or whatever for y'all on the show?
Gosh, a question I could never answer.
You know what, I don't know about you, but whenever anybody says, what was the best,
When it has an EST at the end of it, like the funniest or the thing, and I don't mean to monopolize this conversation, but the thing is, we weren't a funny set. TNG, they were always laughing and kicking around and having a great old time, and we were serious.
Well, we were.
All our characters were neurotic and screwed up. We
For
had,
me, I was, but Dax wasn't.
and a lot of the tenor of a show is dictated by the captain. And Avery, with this incredible dignity and power and almost dangerous kind of vibe that he gave off. And he demanded, personally as an actor and as his character, he demanded real commitment and seriousness. There was not a lot of screwing around on the set. Can you think of anything hysterically funny to tell them? Let's laugh.
Oh, I mean, there are things that are funny now, but at the time when I was bawling my eyes out, it wasn't very funny. Working with Cullum, but then that would be frustrating all in of itself, because he wouldn't know his lines. He'd come and he'd learn them as we were lighting, and then I can't get my lines down if you don't know your lines, because I'm like, what is he talking about?
No,
then we'd film and he'd have it all down, and I'm like, now I'm flustered. I wasn't ready for him to be, anyway, it's crazy. I don't even know how to describe what that is. And then off camera, he just had this way of making like a face, like he'd do it on purpose. You know what I mean? A test of your concentration. And it would be like at 1:30 or 2 in the morning, and it's gonna break. It's gonna break.
Yeah.
So, but not funny to tell a story funny, but like funny, like you're not supposed to be laughing, so you start laughing, that kind of thing, like when something silly happens and you're in elementary school and you're going to get in trouble, but you can't help but laugh, like that.
Good morning. My question is for Terry. A lot of actors and actresses talk about their inspiration or what they draw from for their character, but with the character of Jadzia Dax, you had 7 other lives. Was that a lot more complex? Because you would have to draw from like 7 different inspirations for Leela or Tobin or anything like that?
What was really great is in the beginning, I did let that torture me a bit, and then I just came to the realization I could only play what was right in front of me, because just like playing too many, you can't play all different emotions and different parts of yourself at all times. All you can do is be present and in the moment. So I had to play what was on the paper and what I was really talking about under the lines. But to worry about whether it was Leela or Tobin or that's as complicated as trying to play every part of you that you've ever been in your lifetime. So I kind of likened the lifetimes to, I was one kind of person growing up in Iowa. And then, or that was a version of me. And then when I moved to New York City and became a fashion model, that was another version of me. And then I moved to LA and I became an actress, and that was one version of me. And then I left my career and followed a movie star, and that was another version of me. So these are all evolutions of who I am that eventually make me who I am today. But to me, that's how I made all of the lifetimes of Dax make sense to me, that they are just different periods in Dax's life that came to this culmination that became Judsia Dax. Does that make sense?
Very much, thank you.
Had rather elaborate makeup on. Was there ever a need or an absolutism as far as consistency goes? Being a shapeshifter, being random dots. Did anybody ever change up anything?
Hello?
I'm sorry about
Is
that.
my age? Is that my
Remember
age?
that thing about not having your phones
I
on?
need
Your makeup took how long?
Oh my God, they painted that on my face, Michael Westmore painted it on my face. My makeup was not elaborate. His makeup was
Well,
elaborate.
but it took a long time, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it was 45 minutes for the spots and 45 minutes for the regular makeup. So, yeah, an hour and a half is kind of a long time because I didn't physically wear as much makeup as like Nana's character did.
right.
But I think the spots and it just took him a while to do.
Yeah, the
But,
thing is, it's not so much, and that always fascinates people who aren't into it. Maybe some cross players know that. It's not really so much how long the makeup takes, it's how long you have to wear it. And whether it's
Oh my God.
an uncomfortable makeup as mine was, and it made me quite grumpy. I was not the most cheerful guy, because it was an intensely uncomfortable makeup. Believe it or not, more uncomfortable than a Ferengi or a Cardassian, because when you have a lot of lumps and bumps and nooks and crannies to hide it in, it's not as fragile. My makeup was very fragile, which meant I couldn't eat solid food, which meant that for the 14 hours at least that I would be in the makeup, I was kind of immobilized. But also in retrospect, now I see pictures from over the 7 years. Well, as I said, I was in my 50s when we started the show. I was like 60, I guess, or nearly 60 when we ended. I don't remember exactly, but I was getting older as it went on. And they never changed. They made a mold of my face the first year, and then they built that mask. And they never really changed that. So my face was getting older underneath it. And you can actually see a lot of difference in the makeup if you binge watch the show and watch the arc of it. My makeup changes a lot, even though the mask didn't. It was the fact that underneath it, I was changing. And I think that's okay. I think it's interesting that there's sort of a middle period where the makeup was the smoothest and the most kind of perfect. And in the beginning, it was very rough. They hadn't figured it out yet, and it was a lot of moving pieces. But it was very difficult to keep it
It
together.
drive me mad.
Yeah.
I would come up to him and be like, okay, there's this.
Yeah, there'd be a lump or a warp or something happening. But then in the middle it got really good, and then in the end it sort of started to fall apart.
Speaking of René,
When did you realize that Pork and Noodle were in love? No, not really.
Right away. It was love at first sight.
For real though, my actual question, and you can answer if you wish, but would you rather experience, for both of you, the beginning of Planet Earth or the end?
interesting.
Wow, that is an interesting question.
Since we're in the middle of it.
We are. Let's hope. Well, since it's so much fun to experience global warming as it's happening, I think I'm rather curious to how it actually started. I think that I'd like to see how it started since it's not so difficult to imagine its demise.
Wow. That's the only choices, huh? The beginning or the end. I'll take the other aspect of that question and say that the end, which I'm assuming I'm not going to be here for, will be
I hope not.
pretty special. I think it'll be pretty amazing, and it will be cosmic, and it may be a real revelation. And so, in a way, I mean, it'll probably be scary, or maybe it might not be, what is it, a whimper or a bang? I don't know what it'll be, but it'll probably be fascinating. And if I were there at the beginning, I wouldn't get to be like a sexy cave woman. I'd be slithering out of the ooze.